All right, well, I know some people are still signing on, but welcome back to the 5Cs seminar. We've already talked about superior character and exceptional culture, so we're excited tonight. We get to dive into what makes a tremendous impact in the community and how we're going to do that as warriors. So first thing I want to do is introduce our host, Taylor Hawkins. It's all yours, Taylor.
Thank you, Coach Larson. Appreciate it, Coach. Just a few reminders. So our grand prize for all these 5 weeks and all your guys' posts and hard work will be a team bonding event of your choice. So again, at the end of the 5 weeks, whoever stacks up the most points, whichever team, your team can get the team bonding event, of course, approved by the AD staff of choice. Just a reminder how to get points. I'll say this every meeting. So if you're new, you'll learn it. If you're old, you just got to hear it every week. But so for videos and pictures, you get 10 points each. Pictures on whatever 5C of the week it is. So this week it's community. So post pictures of what your team does in the community, examples of community, and videos as well. Those are due every Friday by 3:30. And then also any events like the FCA, they just had a meeting earlier today. So whoever was there, they received points for their team. Any SAC events or just any events that the school is having, that's another way to get points. And remember, if you do post a video or a picture, just make sure it's not the same thing as someone else. So different placements, move around, but not the exact same picture every single time. All right, I guess we'll start with an icebreaker. How about the first 3 people that tag Westcliff Athletics and tweet a picture or what community means to you? Or you can put on IG like a picture of your team doing something in the community. It could be from the past events, obviously not this year. A lot of things were closed or changed this year, but if you guys post a picture, and also you can put in the chat, how was your Valentine's Day? So those are a couple things that we'll do now, and I'll read off some of the chat. Mine was fun. I hope your guys' was too. Super cheer from Derek, from Derek, okay. Again, first 3 people that tag Westcliff Athletics on Twitter or IG will receive 10 points for your team. Anybody else? So far, I just have chill. All right. Lots of candy from Katie. Oh, that's great. I love candy. We'll wait a couple seconds. Yeah, I had a lot of candy and junk food that I shouldn't have, but whatever. It's fun. $5 pounds of Sour Patch watermelons. Is that from Randy? Ooh, those are the best.
Yes, those are her favorite. So I figured I'd just go big.
That's great. Well, I guess speaking of Randy, I'm going to pass this off to Randy Harris, and he's going to introduce our guest speaker.
Awesome. Thank you, Taylor. So yes, we are very grateful that Dr. David Mitchell is volunteering his time to give us this presentation. He received his doctorate in clinical psychology from Loma Linda University. He's currently the clinical psychologist at the Counseling Center at Cal State Fullerton. He serves as the liaison between athletics and the Counseling Center at Fullerton. So please welcome Dr. Mitchell. I hope I got all that correct.
That's right. Thank you, Randy. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right. So the topic today is the use of pronouns. A little bit about me. So my pronouns are he, him, his. I'm a cisgender male, a licensed psychologist, athletics liaison for the last 2 years at CSU Fullerton. Really, I love working with college and university students. I enjoy helping people address those kind of important things that are going on at this developmental point. And I think you can help people deal with some struggles that you can really make a difference in the trajectory in their lives. And so issues of, stigma, mental health stigma, inclusivity issues and tolerance are something that's been a part of my work throughout my experiences. Before I became licensed, I trained at 6 different college and university settings. And so there was schools like Pasadena City College, Reed College is a little bit more rural, Fresno City College. So I really got a diverse set of experiences working with students. Today, I'm gonna, it's hard. I was torn to like, well, do I start with some stories or do I go into some terms? And I didn't want to bore you guys with a bunch of terms, but they're important. So let me just say that throughout my career as a psychologist, during my training, and even before that, in previous lines of work, I served individuals from the trans community. And pronouns aren't just about individuals from the LGBTQ plus community. There's also individuals that just choose to be non-binary. But this topic is really resonates with me just because I've seen just how incredibly hard it is for individuals who aren't getting support, who are stigmatized and marginalized. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. So cisgender, an individual who gender matches their assigned sex at birth. So when we're born, a doctor takes a look, looks at our physical characteristics, and then they also look at our chromosomes to figure out what to assign us. Transgender individuals, they don't feel aligned with their assigned birth. And this is something that for some individuals, it can be decades before they realize or come to understand themselves. Non-binary, I mentioned that a few minutes ago. So having identities that are outside the gender binary of male and female. Genderqueer, preferred term by some individuals that is similar to non-binary. And gender fluid, an individual with this gender identity changes over time and is different at different times in their lives. So I'm throwing a lot of terms that you understand, but I will give a copy of these slides, to Randy. I'll email all of them. There's tons of resources at the end. So I don't expect you guys to understand this all right now. You can take whole courses on this. We're just kind of broaching the topic and talking about why it's important. So a reminder that an individual's sex is something that it's a label. It's, the doctor looks at us and says, okay, this is what, here's your girl, here's your boy. And so a lot of people have opinions about this, and perhaps we'll discuss that in further. Now, within the slides here is a YouTube clip of an athlete. And so I encourage you guys all to check that out later on your own. And we'll put that on now. So back to gender identity, a person's perception of their own place on the gender spectrum. The gender that one identifies with may or may not be the same as their assigned sex at birth. So when we look at individuals that are transgender, with all the challenges, with the lack of support, that just leads to so much stress that as many as 40 to 45% of transgendered individuals will make a suicide attempt. That is just such a shocking statistic. I don't know what you guys think when you hear that, but it's a serious matter. And so as society, from my perspective, we have to come up with ways to embrace and support our fellow human beings, and something like using pronouns can provide somebody with a space. It can show them and allow them, it can communicate your support, and it can help them feel more wanted within our communities. Again, pronouns are not just about transgendered individuals. Many individuals choose pronouns because they do not want to conform to just whatever stereotypical values or box they're placed in by male or female. Now, the numbers, the statistics for individuals are hard to gather. Not everybody comes out and says what's going on with their experience, but it's somewhere around perhaps 0.05% of Americans that fall into the transgender category. And I'm not even talking about some of the other classes and groups within the LGBTQ plus community. Let me skip ahead. So here are some of the common pronoun types. They, them, theirs, sie, zier, zier, sie, here, here's, she, here's, here's. Now the list of pronouns is growing and expanding, and that I think is a healthy sign. And I can't give you an answer of, well, what's the definitive list? Because it's an evolving process. We're using language to connect with and show respect for people. And that's why it's growing and expanding. Even just a few decades back, people had to keep their thoughts and feelings about gender into the binary. And if they didn't follow that, there was often consequences. And there still is. I mentioned the mental health problems, the suicide, but also think about the violence that's perpetrated against individuals that are gender nonconforming. Now I have, I'm a psychologist, but I'm also in my personal life a mentor and a father figure. And I remember taking a trip to Kohl's with somebody that's really special and important to me. And because they do not align with those typical gender norms for a female, as they went into the dressing room, there's an individual screaming at them, "You're going into the wrong room." "No, it's okay. I know what I'm doing. I'm good." "No, you're going into the wrong room." How many of us don't have to deal with those kinds of assumptions and experiences in our day-to-day life? After today, I hope some of you will see pronouns and the use of them as a way to support members of our community and your campus. And using pronouns is something that, whether it be in our emails, whether it be in our introductions, let's not just do it when we're in LGBTQ plus spaces or when we're given a presentation. The other example, the line at a buffet. I'm sitting there around the holidays, I think it was right before Thanksgiving, getting ready to enjoy a meal with my family member from the LGBTQ plus community. And the person in line in front of us turns around and asks if they're in the right line. These aggressions, microaggressions, are happening on a day-to-day basis for many in our community. And choosing to do things like support them with the use of inclusive language can mean a great deal to many. Nobody's saying that you just have to always share your pronouns. It's about knowing that that option is there, and if you want to, please join in. If you don't have much experience interacting with individuals who don't follow the binary, I suggest you engage in conversations and dialogue, spend time with them, look for your commonalities. Take those moments. We can start off our conversations by stating our pronouns and asking someone else's theirs. It can be beneficial not to assume, well, they look like a girl, their pronouns must be this, or their gender must be this. We're into habits based off our life experiences, and sometimes we're making assumptions that impact a person. So please try to be more open, and I'm not saying you individually aren't, but try to be more open in asking and exploring this with people that maybe you have been in the past. If you misidentify somebody, that happens. Just own it and move forward. There's no need to make it into a big, oh, I'm so sorry. No, just say, you know what? I know you prefer they, them, and I'll correct myself moving forward. You know, in athletics, what are some of the strengths of athletics? You guys were talking a little bit about it at the beginning. I think student athletes are leaders on campus. Not only do they have the academic stuff going on, but they've got this wonderful part of their life that teaches leadership, helps them to excel, even beyond what happens on the field. And so I believe that when student athletes are willing to make steps in areas like this, that sets the tone for the rest of campus. It is an evolving process too. You know, the preferred gender pronouns is a statement that we've been using, but we're working to get away from that. We're shifting towards just pronouns. Because it's the pronouns the person wants, and it's not about preferred. Now, I've pulled, whether it be lists of pronouns, whether it be different videos with messages from athletes that are transgender. There was an LA Times article that just came out 3 days ago from an individual who was able to find themselves after decades. And I have additional information here. You know, the video within these slides. Now this athlete, Eric, he was Erica at the time, and he was a world-class athlete. and he would beat everybody on the slopes. And then he was getting ready for the Olympics, and they did some testing, and they found out that Eric had his male genitals within his lower abdomen area. So they were internal. And so they said, no, you can't be an athlete as a female anymore. Incredibly powerful to hear that story, how athletics was the love and it made such a difference in Eric's life. And so then Eric, eventually worked towards transitioning. And he kept skiing. And at the time, they said no. They wouldn't let him perform as a male athlete. So when you think about the use of pronouns, a meaningful choice that can impact just the general way that we treat people from certain groups that are traditionally marginalized, demonized, and hurt. I would like to open this up for the last 5 minutes to discussion. Feel free to share your views or the views that you've heard. Please let me know what your thoughts are about this topic. Even in the chat box.
So I will start with the question. What is your opinion about that student athlete? Should that student athlete be, about the athlete who skied in the Olympics? Should they be allowed to present women, or should he did a good thing to make that transitioning? If I make sense.
So let me clarify what was happening. So the individual had internalized male organs, and when they were born, their doctor and their family said, "You're a girl," and they went about their life. And then they got into skiing, and they trained, and they became a champion. And then they were trying to go to the Olympics, and it was discovered, oh, actually, this is what's going on inside. And, all those feelings you had about, your interests were more in the areas that we call masculine, and all that might be explained by what's going on here. So, this happened for this individual further back. So, there was a lot less known. Society has to decide where we go with performance and who gets to play where. But from my personal spaces, can we find a place for all of us? Athletics is this amazing thing that so many people have in their lives. Let's find a way to give yourself the best competition, whoever they are. Thank you for your question.
Yeah, I was just very curious. I know that the Olympics, that they decided that they have to fully transition to the gender that they want to be, and then they can compete at the Olympics. Otherwise, they're not able to compete.
And that causes other concerns because, transitioning based off of my working with individuals who have been transgendered is a very difficult, expensive process. Taking the hormones is just very hard on people. And, not only that, there's this sense of dysphoria that just envelops some people to the point where they're just depressed all the time. So it's such a huge issue, and it's also a financial issue. Some people have resources and they're able to make that transition, and some people are not. So we could literally be making a choice that somebody gets to participate because they have those resources. And I just want us all to be aware of that.
Thank you.
I have a question.
All right, go ahead, Eric.
What is your opinion on the South African 800 runner? Are you familiar with her? I can't think of her name off the top of my head. She runs the 800, and she's been kind of, oh, sorry, I should put on my video. She's been kind of singled out, and people, of course, were saying, is she really a female or a male? They come to find out she is a female, and they're talking about her testosterone levels might not be in the area where they want them to be.
Right. So there's an individual, and I cannot remember her name, that basically that individual's testosterone levels without taking drugs is not typically where it would be for people. My personal thought is there's lots of characteristics that allow somebody to perform well. And we have to be careful about choosing, well, these characteristics are okay to have, you can be taller, but these other characteristics, not. I think they've determined that that individual is not using any kind of performance enhancement. So I have a harder time understanding how that natural variation is considered something that we're going to take away their right to play or to run.
I have a quick question. What is a good way to go about asking someone what their pronouns are?
State yours and just say, and what are yours? And if they say they don't want to share, okay.
Great. I also have a few more questions. Can a person be more than one pronoun?
So my interactions with individuals has taught me, and I'm talking in the professional sense, that where somebody's at is not, just think about the way society is affecting people. Sometimes it takes people a long time to come to an understanding that they don't align with what they've been told for 18 years. So absolutely, it can change. It might be changing because of their understanding of themselves, or it might be changing because sometimes we just use language and we find a better way to describe ourselves.
Great, thank you. Does anyone else have any questions or comments?
I've got one more. What about safety in bathrooms? I know we all go like to certain bathrooms, and then what if people misuse this?
Is it Liddy?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, thank you for your question. So what I would say is that I believe states decide and local municipalities decide about bathroom signage and things of that nature. And I would say that I would look at across the world how people use the restroom. And we have certain values in history that might shape our thoughts about people of different genders using their bathrooms. But in other parts of the world, it's not something that they weigh so heavily. And having all-inclusive bathrooms, I would say, is the important step that has to happen in the various settings, especially on school campuses. So making sure there's a space where everybody can use that facility.
Thank you.
Yeah, I had just a quick question as well. When people talk about creating that culture of inclusivity, sometimes it can feel daunting and like there's a lot of tasks. What would you recommend as one simple step that everyone can do to help start that process of being more inclusive for everybody?
I think that we've created a world where people feel more safe to open up about themselves. And so if you can find your opportunities to have conversations with people who don't match your expectations, to engage in dialogue and connect, how much effort does it require to open up to somebody who is not maybe like yourself? That simple conversation can open up doors, make people feel valued and part of your community or your athletics program. At my institution, one of the things that I like about athletics is I see that we're shifting away from just saying, physical health, you got a problem? Great, go to the trainer. Mental health, we don't talk about that. Just ignore it, right? Or we don't want to know anything about it, or its weakness. No, we're understanding that physical health, mental health, it's all health. And we help people take care of themselves in physical and mental well-being by learning to understand who they are. There's many people on your campus probably who are non-binary. There may be some transgender individuals. They're a part of your community. And if you guys are open, that makes them feel more connected and a part of your campus.
Awesome, thank you.
Any other thoughts or feedback from me about relaying this message to people in athletics? Because I want to keep having these conversations.
I think these best practices that you just told us, like that helps, like the little steps. I think when we have those little steps, we can increase the knowledge about the subject. And yeah,
Right.
that's great.
And Lydia, I want to point something out. You know, when I first started documenting sessions with individuals, with they, them, I just kept messing it up. I couldn't get it right because my fingers were typing he or she. And I just kept making that mistake and kept making that mistake. And you know what? That's all right. It's not an issue if you make a mistake in your use of pronouns. It's something easily corrected, and it might help somebody feel supported. So if it doesn't come naturally, that's not a problem. If you're willing to go there, that's something wonderful.
Any other questions, comments, stories?
Well, then I think I'll wrap up with just a message. I really appreciate Westcliff inviting me out today for this subject. And I truly wish all of you well. If you guys need anything, let me know. And Randy, I'll certainly email you the slides.
Awesome, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Take care, everybody.
Dr. Mitchell.
Have a good night.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mitchell. That was very informative. I hope everyone got and learned something from that. And again, we will have these slides available. There's resources on the slides and videos as well. So anyone can take a look at that at any point in time. And if anyone's struggling with anything or has further questions, please feel free to reach out to Randy, myself, anyone on the AV staff or the coaches staff. And we're here to help you answer any questions that you guys would need. Randy, do you have anything else you would like to add?
Oh, I think that was perfect. You know, like Taylor said, we're all here for you guys, and we want to create the best environment that we can. So if anyone's ever going through anything, please reach out to us, reach out to your athletic trainer, reach out to Emily, any one of us. We will make sure you're taken care of.
Yes, well, thank you so much, Randy. Right now, I'm going to pass this on to Richard. He's one of the athletic coordinators here at Westcliff, and we're going to play a game. So here you go, Richard.
Hey everyone, my name's Richard. As Taylor said, I'm an athletic coordinator here at Westcliff. I help with day-to-day duties, more so helping out in the weight room as of late. I've met a good majority of you guys. Before Westcliff, I was coaching high school basketball for about 9 years, and I've been helping out with a national travel basketball team for 6 years now. We play with the Adidas circuit. So just a little bit about me before heading into our Kahoot for the night. So let me go ahead and pull everything up. Wait for it to load the pin. All right, and let me go ahead and share my screen for you guys. Can everybody see that okay?
Yes, we can.
Yes. Reminder, Katie said there's still 2 more spots to earn 10 points for your team. Post that picture, tweet what community means to you. 2 more to earn 10 extra points. All right, looks like we have about 7 people. Let's try to get a couple more on.
Wait about till we get to 15 and then we'll go ahead and get started. All right. Tay, you okay with me starting? I think we're at 13. I don't know if we're going to get to 15.
Yeah, perfect. Go right ahead.
Okay. So how many weeks of practice does the NAIA allow for each sport? The answer was 24. Looks like 6 of you guys got that correct. And first is women's basketball. True or false? A student must pass 24 semester institutional credit hours in the 2 most recent semesters. Good job, everybody got that one. And women basketball still holds on. Who is the head women's soccer coach at Westcliff University? Nice. So Tom is this year's women's soccer coach. Last year was Coach Joey O'Keefe. Women's basketball still remains in the lead. True or false, Emily Burns is the head trainer at Westcliff University. Oh, man. So that is true. Emily is the head trainer at Westcliff. Job women's basketball. Where will the World Swimming Championships be held in 2022? Nice. Thought this would have been a trick question, but you guys seem to get it right. Women's basketball still holds the lead. Taylor is now in second. How many gold medals does Michael Phelps have? $23. So 2 got that right. Let's see who that was. Women's basketball still holds. Who is the men's soccer coach at Westcliff? Yes, Joey. Where did head coach Rainey play collegiate water polo? Nice. So yeah, she played at Long Beach State. And so Cheers now into second with women's basketball dominating in first. Benjamin Favis is the director of financial aid. True or false? That is true. Still holding the lead. What sport is Preslav Jeepov the head coach of? Men's water polo. Who won the last men's FIFA World Cup? France, that is correct. Let's see who's got that. Women's basketball still in first, Cheer in second with Taylor in third. Who won the last women's FIFA World Cup? United States. Good job. Everybody got that one.
Against the Netherlands.
True or false? The Summer Olympics will be held in Tokyo, Japan this year. That is true. You just got pushed back from 2020 to 2021. Everything remains the same. All right. Second to last question. Who won the MLS championship in 2020? Columbus Crew. So 3 of you got that right. Let's see any changes. So Roseanne now in second. Good job, Roseanne. And last question. Which female swimmer has the most gold medals in swimming? Jenny Thompson. So coming in third was Cheer. Coming in second was Roseanne. And first place, I would assume, is going to be women's basketball. Great job, everyone. 4th was Taylor, and 5th was Chamberlain with baseball. All right, Tay, back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Richard. Congrats, women's basketball. I see you. Also, I'm gonna need you guys to know who Emily is by now. Come on now, you guys need to know that. But yeah, just a reminder, you can earn your points throughout the week. Come to the SAC events, do the IG stuff, make TikToks, make videos, photos. Yeah, I think there might be a couple more spots left for the Twitter challenge that we just put out. But yeah, that's pretty much it from me. I'm going to pass this over to Coach Larson. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night.
Yep, thank you for everyone. I'm glad everybody made it on tonight. Thank you, Dr. Mitchell. Randy, thank you for coming on tonight. And great job, Richard, with the game. Glad everybody got a chance to meet you tonight. And as always, thank you, Taylor, for being a great host. And we will see everyone again next Tuesday at 10 a.m. And we're going to jump into committed and to see what it takes to be fully committed to winning championships. So everyone have a great night and great week of school, and we will see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Good week.
Good night.